Miss Linda here, your femininity and dating coach. Now, today let's talk about Zari's seductive personality on Young, Rich, and African. If you don't know what that is, go on to Netflix. It's trending all over the place, and it's such a fun and exciting series. When I started watching this series yesterday night, I thought, okay, Khanyi is gonna be that babe who'll just bring the entire show down. But as I continued watching it, Zari delivered. This babe carried the entire East Africa community and made us look so good. So I'll be sharing with you some tips that you can use to bring up your seduction game, and I'll be taking you through what my thoughts are about Zari and why she just seems to carry the whole goddess energy on an entire different level. So the first thing about Zari, if you notice throughout the entire show, she is so mindful about the words that she speaks about men. A seductress absolutely loves men. Now, of course she's had issues with Diamond, but throughout the show, the way she receives him, the way she speaks about him, she is so conscious about how she speaks about her relationship. She does not sound bitter. She is not angry. She is not fighting anything. And that energy is just so beautiful. You see how Diamond seems so comfortable to go to her place, the way they speak to each other, and even just the interaction between these two. And that's why everybody in the show kept feeling like they still have something going on. While Zari is so clear and she keeps saying no, Diamond is the father of her two beautiful kids, and they just have a very cordial and amazing co-parenting relationship. So contrast that with Annie's character, and Annie is Two-Face's wife. Her energy is just so heavy. Every time she talks about her husband, it's in such a negative light, and that is something that seductresses don't do. Remember, the words that we speak, we are consciously manifesting anything we think, anything we speak. So according to Annie, every time she talks about her husband, and this is something everybody in the cast kept saying, every time Tubaba comes up, it's always in a negative light. It's either she's talking about how he's been cheating, how there've been multiple pregnancies. I mean, even when she was getting ready for her renewal at the dinner table with her family, she had to bring up the aspect of, oh, this time I hope for the next 10 years you will not cheat on me. I mean, that is just so, I don't know, anti-seductive, to be honest. If you look at Zari, she's also had her complicated relationships. I mean, she has, I think, 5 children. But the way she paints her men, Ivan is a billionaire, Diamond is still her friend, and even the ladies kept saying, oh, Zari, if she gets your man, she still lingers around men. And that's what seductresses do. And if you really think about it, these men seem to enjoy her. Diamond enjoys being around her. He was late for Annie's renewal, but you heard him saying he really missed his kids. So his first priority was for him to come home to his children, check up on them, and then the renewal was going to be a secondary thing, and he didn't make it. So you just see the whole relationship between how these two women handle men, and of course it manifests in terms of the relationships around her. So Zari truly looks like a woman who loves men, and she speaks about men in such a positive light. And that's a really key quality in terms of building your own seductive mystique. It's just having that mindset. And of course, we are not trying to say you cover up all the wrongdoings for men. We are not excusing any bad behavior. What we are saying is, if you want to build your seductive persona, you truly just must have that genuine love for men. You need to enjoy men for you to understand them and for them to respond positively to you. So that's the first thing. The second thing about Zari, which is absolutely seductive, is the way she packages herself. I look at the Arabian Nights, the way she showed up. She understood the assignment. Diamond's party was themed Arabian Nights. Look at how she showed up. Beautiful. She made a grand entrance. Of course, it was the first time she showed up in the scene, but it was like, wow, everybody turned to pay attention to who this woman is. Yes, it helps that she is beautiful. I mean, she owns her own personal brand of beauty. But just throughout the show, the confidence in her, the way she carries herself, she's not a size 10, she's heavy. I mean, she's a typical African woman with hips and legs, but she carries her physique in such a beautiful way. And remember, she's 41. So age notwithstanding, her size notwithstanding, she's still able to dress herself according to her personal brand of beauty and bring it. So a seductress owns who she is. Of course, she's had her own body enhancements, and I mean, anybody can do whatever they want to their bodies. It's part of, recreating yourself. You can recreate yourself into anything you want to be. But remember, there are still women who recreate themselves and they still feel insecure in who they are. That's not the vibe I got with Zari. She was absolutely confident in the woman that she is. With her 5 children, with her age, with her size, that really did not stop her from owning the show. Now, the third thing about Zari that is so seductive, she understands the art of build-up. You see, many women, if you compare Diamond showed a bit of interest in Nandi. Nandi immediately, how do you call it? She immediately just came to Diamond. And Diamond kept saying, he's a hunter. He loves the chase. He loves the game. Nandi had very little resistance. Of course, I'm not saying they slept together, but just the way, I didn't feel like there was much of a chase that Diamond had to put into it. And very early on, she was like, oh, she likes Diamond, and her goal was she wanted to record a song with him or do a project with him. So there was really very little sexual tension. If you look at how Andile and Zari's build-up was, oh my God, it was electric. Andile would keep coming to Zari. Zari was always so put together. Of course, she acknowledged that she liked him, but she knew how to take her time with this guy. Even at the very end, when Andile called her, and he said, I will be coming to you very, very soon. Of course, Zari didn't expect for Andile to come to her home. So when Andile showed up, who did he find? He found Diamond at home. And what did Zari do? A smart woman. She did not defend anybody. The 2 men were there. Of course, Andile had encroached in Diamond's territory, but Zari, being a seductress, the 2 men sat there. She was so gracious. She offered Andile a drink. She took herself out of the situation because she understood men know how to square things out. She does not have to antagonize anybody. She doesn't have to explain anything. She doesn't have to feel awkward. To her, she's the prize. She is the prize. So she took herself out of the situation and allowed the men to do what they needed to do. Another very seductive thing about Zari is in the way she communicates. She literally ruffled feathers with almost every babe in that in the entire series. And throughout, she really knew how to keep her composure. She never yelled outrightly. And one particular scene that stood out for me was when she had her session, her meeting with what's her name? Oh yeah, Annie. when she had that meeting with Annie, Zari came looking good for her meeting. Proper makeup, beautiful dress. She looked really good. And she was ready to have the conversation. On the other hand, Annie rocked up in tracks, rocked up in shades. Her whole body language was so off. You could immediately tell who's the dominant woman in this scenario. Whether Zari was right or wrong is up to you. But the thing is, as a woman, as a seductress, wherever you go, you're constantly representing the image that you need to represent. So Zari, I mean, she showed up for the meeting. Annie looking like, she looked, honestly, she really didn't look like she was a match for Zari at all. She really did not look like. And you see, it made me think about how sometimes we may go through situations in life and where we feel so defeated, but we don't really have to wear what we feel on our bodies. There's something nice about always trying to look good, to elevate your energy, just to elevate your spirit, and Zari did that beautifully. Now you may be wondering, between Khanyi and Zari, what's the difference between these two women? These two women are both really successful. These two women, they've dated really wealthy men. These two women are celebrities in their own right. They run their own empires. They have children. But what's the big difference between the two? Zari is a feminine woman. Khanyi is an empowered woman. Khanyi's vibe is more of, I am a go-getter, I will get this, I am confident, I need to win. Zari, of course, has the same mindset, but the way she carries herself is with such sensual, feminine grace and ease, and it's what I would like to describe an iron fist in a velvet glove. That is Zari. And truth be told, sometimes in Africa, we have, if we look at the way West Africa is represented through Annie, honestly, I don't know, that representation is just, yeah. The way Zari represented East Africa is beautiful. We came out as sensual women. We came out as elegant women. We came out as confident women. The South African crew, and of course Khanyi was their ringleader, they came out as extremely combative. And that kind of aggression came out as extremely masculine. Of course, you cannot put two alpha women in the same space and expect them to coexist. Zari is an alpha woman, Khanyi is an alpha woman. It's unlikely that they would coexist peacefully. I mean, they can coexist, but there will definitely be a rift because each of them have their own strength and each of them would naturally lead their own packs. So that's why the two personalities, it's unlikely that they would mix. So the thing is about a seductive woman is, yes, ladies, we all have our own agendas. We all have our ambitions. We all have our thoughts. We all have our beliefs. But the difference between a seductive woman and just any other typical aggressive babe is just how she packages her message, how she comes across. And that is what makes one woman more aggressive versus one who seems to be put together. If you compare the two, and you could see just how Andile was so drawn to Zari. Of course, yes, she's beautiful, but it's in such a feminine way. She was basically, she's been the one who's been leading Andile on all this time. And Andile has been feeling like he's the one chasing. No. Remember from the beginning, Zari kept saying, I like Andile's vibe. Already that means she finds him attractive. And even when she went to his place to deliver the invite, and he said he couldn't make it, realized there was absolutely no fuss. Basically, this is a woman who's able to bait a man and let it wait and let things sit. And that's the one thing that so many women don't know how to do, just to do the whole art of build up. Because society has made us believe that we always have to communicate. If you like a guy, you need to tell him. If you're feeling low, you need to tell him. If you love him. And that's why the other babe, what's her name? The young couple, her personality is extremely unseductive. She is the youngest in the group. She's 28 and her boyfriend is 40. But throughout the show, this woman has been complaining that her boyfriend is unromantic. He never does this, he never does that. And even when the boyfriend was talking, he was saying she literally lives in his house, which means there's no space. And the thing is, seduction requires space. Seduction needs space. So unlike Zari, yes, she knows she will spend a bit of time with Andile, then take her time off and go and do whatever. And that's why Andile was ready to basically risk it all. By coming over to Zari's house, everybody had told Andile that this woman, you know Diamond, Diamond is your friend, you know they have a family, but still logic was thrown to the side because this man just could not get enough of Zari. That is seduction. Zari did not have to sit and speak with him and tell him, oh, I like you. No. No. Just who she is, her energy, and how she played the game. That is what inspires a man. You don't have to sit and tell a man, I want you to be romantic. What does, I mean, honestly, truly, what does that really mean? If a man is not feeling romance towards you, and chances are when you met, he was so romantic to you. So what has changed? What has changed? I know life changes, but truly, why can't you look at yourself and see what role am I playing with this whole game? And that's why I say Zari's personality completely stood out. Because even that younger lady, the one who's 28 years old, she's still not able to inspire this kind of attention from her own man who is 12 years older than her. That lady is young. She has a gorgeous body. She is beautiful, but she still keeps complaining about her man. Zari over here has Diamond, who literally is doing, you know, the most for her. They seem to have a loving unit. And she is the only one who has a male crush in the show. So basically, she's dealing with two men effortlessly without having to do anything extra. So it goes without saying, it's really not about how you look and your age or, you know, your shape. It's really just about knowing how to play the game. And the last thing that's absolutely beautiful about Zari and her personality, and this is something I would encourage each and every one of us to borrow, is in just how gracious she is. When she went up for the really combative meetup with, what's her name, with Annie, she showed up with flowers. When she was invited to Diamond's Arabian Nights party, she got him a gift. So she's always so gracious in how she shows up. And this is something I've not seen any of the other ladies doing. Most of the ladies, they go for the ones who go, you know, for the meetings or for the sessions, they just do the drink up and they go and that's it. But Zari, for some reason, always seems to have a token when she's meeting most of the co-hosts and the co-stars. And that is just showing just how hospitable she is. And that is really truly part of being an elegant woman, someone who's well bred, somebody who has good social graces. Because naturally, tokens, we all love tokens, whether it comes from a good place, whether it comes from a bad place, that's immaterial. The thing is the gesture, the kind and warm gesture that this lady has shown this host, this co-stars, is what is so beautiful. So I'd love to know what do you think? Who was the star that you absolutely loved in the show? Let me know. Then speak soon. Bye.